more often than not, when a fighter becomes a world champion for the first time, they tend to have one, two, sometimes more easy defenses as champion first before they take on a mandatory challenger. And they tend to have even more title defenses than that before they even start thinking about unifying with one of the other champions. Well, Joseph Parker, who is the newly crowned WBO heavyweight champion, and his team are trying to break the mold. At least on the surface, this is what they're saying, because they have expressed interest in Joseph Parker's next fight being a unification against Deontay Wilder. And not only that, they would also like the fight to be on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. So a massive heavyweight double header. This is what Parker's team are proposing. They do have a mandatory obligation against Hughie Fury, apparently. That is yet to be resolved with the WBO, whether they're going to enforce that immediately or whether they'll give Parker an exemption and allow him a unification against Wilder. We'll see. And obviously David Haye was previously the mandatory challenger for Parker Ruiz, but David Haye decided to go a different route and he's taken on Tony Bellew. I'm not sure if he has relinquished his mandatory position or if the WBO have stripped him of that mandatory position. One or the other. Whatever the case may be, Hughie Fury is the mandatory now. So will Parker take on Hughie Fury? We'll see. I'm sure most people would prefer him to fight Deontay Wilder in his next fight. Most people would think that's going to be a very intriguing, if not a very exciting fight. And we'll find out one way or another if Joseph Parker or if Deontay Wilder is the real deal in that fight. And could you imagine it on the undercard of Joshua Klitschko? It would be absolutely huge. Now the reason, or at least one of the reasons why Parker's team are proposing this is because they know that the market in New Zealand, which is a very small nation, is way smaller than the market in the United Kingdom. And I'm talking about the boxing market. The potential to make money is way, way less in New Zealand than it is in the United Kingdom. I hope I didn't say Australia there. Yeah, in New Zealand. So they want a piece of that United Kingdom action. And having a double header with two title fights, heavyweight title fights, would be absolutely huge. And you're not only talking about box office in the UK, you'd be talking about box office in New Zealand, possibly Australia, possibly the United States. So Parker and his team would do way, way better financially from that than they would fighting Hughie Fury. So that's what they're looking at. But not only that, you have to give Parker and his team credit. They're not trying to just sit on the title. They are attempting to jump straight in to a dangerous fight with Wilder. I'm going to quote Joseph Parker's team directly here. I've pretty much summed up what they've said anyway, but I'm going to quote them directly anyway if you want to stick around for this. This is the events director. Oh, sorry. This is the director of Duco Events, which is the outfit that handles or looks after Joseph Parker. And his name is David Higgins. He says, if we are required to fight Hughie Fury, then that simplifies things a bit. We are clarifying that at the moment, if the opponent is required to be Hughie Fury, then we'll assess the pros and cons of holding it in England versus holding it in New Zealand, and we wouldn't rule out either. We would consider all options. The other option is to reach out to Al Heyman's people about Deontay Wilder, potentially seeking to unify all of the belts. My understanding is that if we go to unify, it potentially overrides the mandatory, so that means we have options. We are not scared of anyone. We're not going to look to pad or dodge. We want to unify. Whether Eddie Hearn is willing to have two heavyweight title fights on one card, we don't know. We would have Wilder, Parker and Joshua Klitschko on the same card, and the winner of each fight could face off against each other. I guess the other option is if Tyson Fury sorts himself out and wants a shot back at his belt, because I think the WBO said once he is fit again, he could ask for a shot back. Once again, that is something we would look at. So those are the words of David is it David Higgins? Let me double check his name. It is David Higgins, who is the director of Duco Events, the promotional representatives for WBO heavyweight world champion Joseph Parker. Saying some interesting things there. Tyson Fury possibly coming back and getting an immediate crack at Joseph Parker. That's a possibility. But what they really seem to want to go for is the unification with Wilder. And then the winner of the Wilder Parker unification going on to fight the winner of Joshua versus Klitschko. So they're looking to consolidate all the belts as quickly as possible. And that's obviously what the fans want to see. We want to see all those belts consolidated. So drop your comments in the comment section below, people. Let me know what you feel about this news from the Parker team. Do you like their attitude? I can imagine most of you do. How much of this is down to them really believing in their fighter? And how much of it is down to them wanting to make a hell of a lot of money as quickly as possible and knowing that it can't be done in New Zealand? So they have to go straight into a big unification and hope to have it at Wembley. At the end of the day, most fans won't care as long as the fight happens, what the motivation for it is. So let me know how you feel, people. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.